On behalf of Akuno Senko for Bay, you know what I'm saying? Jay, where you at? We're trying to help our people elevate. Hope. HOPE. We're giving them hope. We doing what we gotta do, you know. Every day, one step at a time, man. We gonna make it happen. Helping our people elevate. Yeah. Sometimes I practice focus, thought, and meditate. I'm trying to come with other ways to help our people elevate and seeking knowledge, make me levitate. The lifted mental state is what results from how we orchestrate. This for the family's sake. Let's self-reflect and self-evaluate. And every day, make sure the steps you take, you calculate. Receive a master's fate. I know I can't exist without the hate, but that's okay. I balance that with higher self today. Success is on this way, and after that, my flesh can pass away.
All right, peace, family. We back with another one. I have a great brother in this video with me today. Introduce yourself, Muslim. Tell the people who you are and where you from.
I'm Kwasi, near the foreign political zone known to the masses as LaGrange, Georgia, which we know is a charter issued by King George II. Issued by King George II. And LaGrange is named after a Frenchman, Lafayette, who assisted the United States in their war with Great Britain. And his name was Lafayette LaGrange Marquise. He had a long name. And so I'm near that area, known to the masses as LaGrange, Georgia.
Okay, tell us what it's like growing up. What was it like growing up in Georgia?
Well, we call it Trap County. They call it Trap County. And it was just real influential. You know, the music led a lot of our actions, and you know, organizing groups. They call them gangs, and we came up with our own groups, gave them a name, gave ourselves street names, and we went to the club, the East Side versus South Side versus West Side versus North Side, and we would go to the clubs with that mindset, and just going to the club, drinking, smoking weed, hanging out. We had some positive stuff that we did. We was rappers. We used to rap, and so we organized around rapping and trying to make it out using our talents and music. I was always an entrepreneur, and so I was always trying to sell stuff. Whatever I got my hands on, I was trying to sell it and find a way to make some money. But it was very influential. Just basically everybody followed the crowd type of mindset. School was about typical. People, we go to school. Sometimes we skip. We trying to hop on all the females, and that mindset, run trains and smoke in the bathroom, and just that typical mindset that I think is infected within the mindsets of the Black community. But there was a little bit about how it was, running from the police. And a lot of stuff we created those situations, and we would blame the police. And not just giving them a escape card, but I just think a lot of those positions we put ourselves in was due to ignorance. And but the police not the best anywhere, but I think a lot of times we influence the situation to go the way that it went. Sometimes, group fights, going to the movies, with a little date, hanging out at the movies, sometimes getting a fight at the movies or throwing stuff in the movies. But we wasn't bad children. We just was influenced, a lot by music, and wasn't a lot of role models. Wasn't a lot of people doing something positive that we could relate to. You had positive people though. You had people doing after school programs. People doing camp outs and boys and girls club where you could go hang. Well, we got to find a lot there. But it was more so just having somebody to relate to you that was doing something that could impact your life. I mean, we had a few of those older guys that was around. Brother Garfield Duckett, Jerome Cofield, and some of the others, Stanley, Mr. Stanley, and a few of the other ones. So it wasn't all negative in our area, but it's just we was influenced by the crowd, by the group. And so that's a little bit about Trap County, known to the public as the foreign political zone known as LaGrange, Georgia.
Yeah, that sounded like how it was growing up here as far as same similarities. Like, I mean, like I remember we would go to the movies on dates with the young girl. We were teenagers, you know what I'm saying? And we sneaking in the movies. And so
Yeah,
even though we sneaking and we know this is wrong, but it was fun. We still
yeah,
did it. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, I mean, we're not giving the officers a green ticket or a green thumb, but we know we could have prevented some of the stuff that we were putting ourselves in
right,
by
right,
making wiser decisions. You know what I'm saying? But we were young. I mean, it was fun. You
yeah.
know, not to go too deep, and we're gonna get back into the questions, but like there was a point in time here when you could pump your gas before you had to pay for it at this gas
Oh,
station down here. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
we would steal cars and then go get free gas and then go riding around doing dumb stuff, stealing out of stores. You know what I mean? Just dumb, but it was fun for us. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And again, I'm not justifying and I'm not giving them a green thumb, but we were doing things that we knew we weren't supposed to. And so if we get caught, we can't say, "Oh, it was their fault." F the police. No, we did that.
yeah, yeah.
We got to hold ourselves accountable.
Right. That's all. Yeah, that's all. You know, because sometimes when I sit at the younger folk, they look at me with a twisted face, like not supposed to be like fuck the police, and with that concept, I'm not. I'm just saying everybody, even the police, got to be held accountable. But we
Mm-hmm.
also got to hold ourselves accountable for what we do too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because we know what we're doing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I understand if you 10, 12, but you 14, 15, 16, 17. Now you starting to be able to think for yourself. Now you know right from wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If you're given the right guidance, let me say that. Let me put that in there. Because there's
Yeah.
some youngsters that's not given the right guidance and they don't know the right,
Right. Yeah. That's the only way they know. Yeah.
you know. But back to my question, how long have you been? Because we didn't let the people know, but how long have you been studying the more science, and what were you doing before you studied more science? Like, what led you to it?
Um. Divinity, I would say, because so what I was doing, I'm gonna give a. I was doing a lot, but I'm a walk it. I was working at on the plantation. They call it the what do they call it, the plants, but I
Mm-hmm.
forgot stuff like Mobis. You got Hyundai, Damos, and our Power Tech, where you build cars for Kia and all that kind of stuff. But it's actually called a plant. So I was on the plantation, and I was working there, and I sold clothes, like women purses, Michael Kors bags, Gucci belts, and look stuff like that. Snapback hats. Everybody was on the snapback hat. So I had snapback hats for the dudes, and the little purses and stuff. So I was selling them while I was on the plantation. And I also was into throwing parties.
Mm-hmm.
And so I threw a lot of parties, trying. So I was an organ. I understood that I was. Well, I'm saying this now, but I always look back and say I was always an organizer. I always like to organize and to see stuff to the to the fruition of it. I want to see it to the end. I wanted to flow right, no matter what I was trying to do, whether it was throwing a party or whatever. I wanted to make sure we had security in place. Nobody got shot. I cared about that kind of stuff. Make sure we make sure we pat people down, or the women gonna be safe. Make sure we got bottles and we can drink, but we got it right. And so, but I used to work, 9 to 5 at the plant. We used to rotate, so we had first shift, second shift, third shift, and so we throw a lot of parties and wanted to be cool and known. And so as I was throwing more and more parties, we did a cabin party out with one of my brothers, Wayne, and Wayne was well known, and so we ended up having a cabin party, probably over 1,000, 600, 700 people, 1,000 people, and it was Bloods. You had Bloods there, Crips, GDs, and we didn't have no security. We was just our own security. And And so we did our own security at this particular event. Nobody, but the thing, it was crazy because it was a lot of animosity between the different gang rivals, but as we were known, and we never really gang banged, but we was known amongst these different groups. Nobody, they respected it. You know, we didn't have any shootouts. It could have easily happened, but I think energy is real, and so I guess we put off a good positive energy where nothing negative happened. Everybody had a good time. We had strippers in there. You know, we had even some people from Noonan. I mean Columbus, and that's even city to city. You know, Columbus, the Grange. Sometimes they have their beef and rivals, but just the tone we set, it was nice.
It was a good event. It was a good vibe.
Yeah. I mean, nobody got the fun. You know, it was no shooting or nothing all the way to the end, and we have no security. And had different cities in them, and so that turned out that was a wonderful event. But as I continued to do the event, I met a brother, which I knew him going in and out, but I kind of re-met him through throwing the parties. That's why I say divinity. And he was a cameraman, and he took the photos and stuff at our event so we could have content to promote the next events. And I was just always thinking, you know, like they're trying to connect the dot. How do we make the parties better? How do we, you know, and all that stuff. And so Mizza was, I would say, the intelligent guy. I always had sense. You know, I grew up, I had a mom and dad, so I understood, you know, what needs to be done. But I had a lot of my time was in the hood, you know, hanging out with, you know, with the brothers in the streets and, you know, doing whatever we was doing. And so I think I got a chance to see both sides of the spectrum in its polarity sense, the extremes of both. So I know what it's like, you know, with a mom and dad, how that works. And then I know the extreme of robbing, being jumping, selling this, selling that drug, selling that drug, you know, in an interrogation room, not telling, no, all of that. The both. So I think it was divinity that led me to this concept of where I am today. But Mizza was the cameraman, and so as I got cool with him, we would smoke weed after the parties, and we would just talk about stuff. And he asked me, "Have you ever heard of the Moors?" And I was like, you know, but like I said, I always was. I wanted, you know, I got like A and B, C's and stuff in school, a little few F's because I was skipping a lot. But it wasn't that I didn't know how to read and stuff. I mean, I could read. I'm intelligent. I could articulate myself. It wouldn't register. I didn't at the time. I didn't know that I didn't care about it, but it just didn't connect. I didn't care to really learn about how many vertebrae a bird got or how far can a frog jump. I didn't care really. And so I would skip school, and even though I had a mom and dad, I knew what I needed to do. I was influenced by the crowd, and so, you know, like Spanish, we had to take Spanish, but it was more so just passing tests. It didn't download in me where I could go hold a conversation. And I didn't. That's something I should have took more heed of, was learning different language. But when I graduate, I was failing Spanish. We had to have Spanish to graduate, and so she let me retake some of the tests. I had like zeros because I was skipping, and she let me go back. She was nice enough to let me retake a lot of even if I didn't pass the test, a zero bring your grade down so much that she let me retake like 4 or 5 of my zeros, and even if I made 40s or 50 or C, I made a few C's on some of those tests, a few B's. They still would push me.
Bring you back up, yeah.
To graduate, yeah, because those zeros bring you down so much. So it was like already getting closer to graduation. School was over, but she let me retake those tests, and so I ended up graduating on time in 2010. But as me and Mizza, we was on the porch gassing after some of the parties. We had dance contests, you know, booty shaking contests and all that. And so we would sit on the porch out at my parents' house. We would sit out there on the porch and we would gas and we were just talking. He said, "Have you heard of the Moors?" And so I was like, "No, you know." And what, you know, and he was like, you know, we have a right to travel, and I came into it like that, you know, learning about the traveling. We have a right to travel, and he put me on Taj Tariq Bay. So after I started listening to some of those YouTube videos after he left, and I would continue to check it out here, and this was like 2016, 2017 type thing, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there.
Around the same time I got on the information.
Yeah, and that's how I was on Taj Tariq Bay, and I would sit out there in gas, bro, and listen to the youth. I'm talking about hours. I would just sit out. That's all I wanted to do. I thought whatever I was doing, so I would gas, sit on the porch, watch the video, 2-3 hour video, 4 hours. I'm just out there gas, taking notes, researching this, and I'm like, damn. But when I first started listening to it, I was like, I don't even know none of these words that he's talking about. Like I was like, damn, I don't know nothing. So I felt like offended that I didn't know nothing. And so now I understood what learning was about, because it wasn't that what I got out of school. And so this is like 6 years later after me graduating, 6-7 years later. And I was like, dang, man, I don't know much, And so I would research the word, I would write down the words he was using, and I would look those words up. I didn't know nothing about etymology. That came later. I would just go to the meaning and look up the word on Google and like, oh, okay, here, this is what jurisdiction means. This is what state mean. This is what, color of law mean. This is what black mean. But it went deep, really deep at the time, how I can say it now. But this is what mean. This is what Constitution is, and just all kind of words that Taj Tariq Bay was using. That I, right to travel and jurisdiction and malfeasance of office, and
not to cut you off, but how you said that you didn't know how to, we knew how to read, but we didn't know how to read. You know what I'm saying? As far as like when he was breaking words down, there's a video with him and Sabir Bay when they take the two children and have them read the dictionary, and they go over the word black, and then the black boy at the bottom. When I saw that, I said, "It's in the dictionary. I need to get me a dictionary." I had to give my library up.
Yeah.
So now I own a jurisprudence law dictionary. I got the Black's Law Dictionary. I got a Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, and I have like 2 or 3 other dictionaries in here. But you know what I mean? I had to program myself to go back and, like you said, etymology. Oh, this is what this means. This is what the origin of this word is. So that doesn't apply to me. Oh, so now I see why when I use this word, it has this effect.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? But my apologies for cutting you off, but it made sense now. Go ahead. My apologies.
Yeah, I didn't get etymology necessarily. I don't think I got them more from Abdullah. And that, I mean, Taj may have mentioned it, but I didn't. It didn't stand out. I was more so the black. I went black type from Taj, and the right to travel, and the jurisdiction, that they don't have jurisdiction, and we need to send these paperwork off over here to these 7 locations, and we, and all that. But so yeah, I would sit on the porch, man, and I would be gassing, and I was just like, dang, man, this shit is crazy, man. And came across other stuff like The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and just learning about a lot of stuff, man. And so that's around when I was introduced that we were Moors, but I had questions like, so is the United States a state? What's a state? And Mizzle was like that was the guy I would go to talk to about that kind of stuff, because then I would be like, I'm the only Moor, so I was kind of vague in my concept, because I was just black. Now I'm saying I'm the only Moor, instead of saying, I'm a more of a conscious Moor, but the other Moors are unconscious. I thought that I was the only one. I felt secluded. There was nobody to fight in the bill with. And so I started challenging the courts. Now, because I already had that warrior spirit, we already were jumping people, getting jumped, whatever, shootouts, going to the club, throwing up signs in people's faces, and breaking in people. So I already had all of it's a risk factor. And so I had that. I didn't care about taking the risk, really, or I didn't think enough about it, or I didn't get caught doing a lot of stuff, but I that same risk. So I would get, now when I get pulled over and the police pulled me over, now I had that mindset. I was on the I was more, people say fuck the police, but I was demonstrating it, not just saying it back when it just, when we agree. I'm saying when they pull me over, I'm showing them fuck them. So I'm giving them hell. I'm not a citizen. You don't have the right. I'm not getting out the car. You got to call your whole squad. All of that. I did all of that. Go live on Facebook, and it still may be. They shut down some of my pages, If I would go live, it's, not getting out the car. You don't have jurisdiction over me. I'm not this. I'm not that. But I think all of this was divinity because I got a chance to go in front of the judge and battle against the judge. But I learned certain concepts through this that I think would have been hard to learn just reading the book. And I got a dead 7 days contempt of court. I've been held in contempt of court. Trying to challenge them. I've been, look boo boo the fool in there. Not knowing what to say and trying to go through the creditor, read off of this little list. Somebody told me to read this and say this, and I was doing all of that. But I remember when I said to the judge, she said, "You're in the state of Georgia like everybody else." But I recall it. It replays back in my mind, but I didn't know at the time. I hadn't came across the Abdullahs and stuff. And I told to her, I said, "I'm not in the state of Georgia," but I didn't know. I just was rebuting what she said, but I didn't go into that. I told her I wasn't in the state of Georgia, and her face changed, but I didn't stay on that. Not that I'm not telling people to go in there and say that, but now that I know what I know now, I know that that's an issue. They want us to think that we in these political zones like Oklahoma or the state of Georgia or state of Florida. They want us to talk like that. But I just recall her face, but they know how to control. They think body language and everything. And I understand that now. When I go back and replay these situations, they go off of body language, and I shouldn't even been in those courts anyway. But I'm just saying, but I was there, and now I know that it's a secret agenda based on what I'm learning now. Because why did her face expression change so drastically when I said? Because they would have to prove that I'm in the state of Georgia. But I didn't go down that road. I just simply said that. Then I went back to saying I was indigenous, and I never really pushed that I wasn't a United States citizen. I was saying that I was a national of the United States, so I'm indigenous to the land, or I'm an American citizen. I wasn't refuting that I was not a United States citizen, and I had no backing, no consulate to back what I was saying. But I was in there. I was in the gym, and but her face did change drastically when I stated that. And that particular judge didn't hold me in contempt of court. I had 20 people in there with me, but they wouldn't even have court that day. They would just be me in there, and end up going to jail. But I end up beating the cases, but I beat it a different way. That's not the proper way. That's an individualized way. Do everything individual, and it's too much of an uphill battle to try to fight it like that. And that's not even the right way, though. It's supposed to be political legitimacy and unity and working together through a constitution and in our own structure. But I was going the way that the Taj Tariq was teaching me, and I was fighting as an individual, and so I ended up doing 7 months, which is not long. But then I got out, and I filed a motion of discovery, and I challenged what the prosecutor had. They charged me with like giving false name, forgery, theft by receiving, stolen property, which I won't go into that whole thing. But they ended up dropping all of the charges because of the paperwork trail that I was able to present. But that's not the right way to do it, though. That's the wrong way. I'm just saying that because that's not the correct way to fight against a body.
My apologies. I think a lot of us have followed the Taj Tariq Bey, you know what I'm saying, and the individuality part of it and the individuality steps of it. Because as I'm listening to you, I thought about when I had my one-on-one with the policy enforcers, but it was me and my cousin, and this was, what's this, 2024? I think this was like 2017. And I remember sitting in my old apartments, we sitting in my car, but we sitting smoking and drinking. And I'm telling myself, what's the purpose of me studying this stuff if I'm not going to implement it? You know what I mean? I might as well see if it worked. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like I manifested. It was like the universe wanted to test me. You know what I'm saying? So I blow my gas, get out the car. We drinking tall cans. We sitting on the back of my car, me and my cousin. The undercovers pull up in the truck. They pull up, hop out. They pulled up, bro. They had their windows down. They was like, "Hey, you guys heard any gunshots?" And we was like, "No, we ain't heard nothing." So they put the truck in park. 3 officers get out the car, 1 on the driver's side, 2 on the passenger side. It's a female in the middle. They come talking to us and asking us if we got any ID. First thing I asked was, what was the probable cause? They said they heard gunshots in the area. So they wonder if we heard anything. So I'm like, no, we ain't heard nothing. So then that's when they asked for ID. To speed the story up, my cousin was like, I'm not finna give y'all nothing. Now y'all go harassing two you're harassing two black folk. And I said, y'all harassing melanated brothers. When I said that, the officer was like, whoa, what's that? What's melanin? And I said, my skin tone. I'm not black, Negro, colored, African American, etc. And then he looked at my tattoos, looked at my cousin tattoos, and was like, well, what's a Hoover in the neighborhood doing together? Y'all supposed to be killing each other. Y'all supposed to be enemies. Why are y'all together? I'm like, man, this is my cousin. Oh, well, I'm like, when I stated I'm a Moor and got the point at my feds in the back of my car, and I made sure all three officers saw it. And I said, I'm a Moor. 3 times, I'm a Moor, pointed at their feds. Their entire demeanor changed. It went from show us some ID to, oh, well, you guys have a good weekend. I like to drink. They talking about what kind of beer they like to drink now. And they got back in their truck and they left. They didn't get no ID. I stood on my square and they left us alone. And so I know, but it was individual. It was me speaking individually. So it was like, yeah, that may have helped me in that essence, but it still doesn't help us as a whole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how can I implement this to where I could demonstrate this to others and show them what I did, or wait, don't do what I did, because I didn't even I wasn't as studied as I am now. Like you said earlier, it was still certain stuff that I skipped out that I should have boom, 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 but I didn't know. But it's the knowing that got me in the clear.
Yeah.
When I didn't know, and I caught a weed case. This was like 2013, 2012, something like that, way back before I was on the conscious tip. Before I knew Oklahoma was a no-show ID state. Before I knew that before I knew anything about a probable cause. If I would have known that Oklahoma was a no-show ID state, then I wouldn't have been so quick when, I'm sure y'all got it in Georgia where when the gang taps, when they hop out and first thing they do is, hey, you guys got some ID? You know what I mean? When they pull up in the apartment complex on the brothers projects or whatever, and first thing they want is ID. And all the brothers get scared. In most states are no-show ID states. So unless there's a crime, you don't have to show them nothing. But I didn't know this. And so I'm willing to, here you go, because I don't have no warrants. So I know I'm good. Give them my ID, they get to going around my car, they seen some little weed sack in the car, which it wasn't mine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's how they got me. But it's the what we don't know is what hinders us.
right.
So that's why I feel like this is important, this information, and going back into it, and my apologies for cutting you off and going long. But if we can we talk about the agriculture? You know what I mean? Like what got you into that?
What got me into agriculture was brother Eric. Well, it was a lot though. It was, I don't think it was one thing. It was, like I say, it was like a multiple thing. You know, looking at documentaries with how they doing the food was like there was a seed being planted. So among when I was learning about we were Moors, I was looking at like the art of war and silent weapons and just different ways we were under attack. So there was a seed that was planted, you know, back in like 2017, 2016, 17, 18. And so as time progressed, around about 2020, that's when 2021, I started agriculture, physically manifesting it in 2021. But it was a seed that was planted, looking at just how they spraying the foods, how we just don't control now. We just sit back and just be just talking, you know, about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the how hard is it to grow? But then I met brother Eric Simpson, which is part of the West Georgia Farmers Cooperative, and they're a cohort of farmers, and so I got on his wing, and he was showing me his farm and showing me, you know, how to do different stuff, and you know, about annuals and perennials, learning about little basic stuff. What's an annual? Annual is something that grows seasonally. A perennial is something that comes back every year. Learning the difference in between those, and you know, learning about germination and how that process works, and using different equipment, different tractors, which I'm still learning. And I connected to other sisters, older women, like the American Community Garden Association, where we go once a year. We go to a different foreign political zone. We've been to Virginia, we've been to Tennessee, we've been to New Orleans, we've been to Houston. We're going to Boston this year. And these are different conferences where we would go and connect ourselves. I think we went to one conference before we even grew. We went to a conference just to get more knowledge, so we had a path on what to do. But we just started out with pallets. We got pallets from one of these local plantations. They gave us some pallets, and we built little boxes and put some soil in there and just started from there. But it was a big role of Eric Simpson and just the other seeds that were planted in my mind, and being around, putting myself around other people who were already in that field made it a lot more easier to even want to try to start, because it seems like a lot, but it's just the not knowing how. Nothing is a lot. It's just we do a lot wrong. So we just gotta, if we did everything that we do wrong right, it wouldn't be a lot. It's just we just our the habits are just out of shift. So everything seems hard that we need to be doing because we've been displaced and we're not structured anymore. And so that's what kind of ever since we're doing the grocery store here, where we want to bring, quote unquote, the first black owned cooperative grocery store here in this region where we are. And it's a cohort of farmers who grow the food, so we will be able to produce our own food, and so I was excited about stuff like that, and I seen that as another way to reach the community, and maybe even it's another stream of income. And just wanted to gain that skill because I didn't go to college. I went to college for computers, but I didn't finish. And I wanted to have skills. I just felt so far behind. I didn't know much. I couldn't do nothing. I didn't know how to build nothing. Couldn't work on cars, and I just wanted to be more useful while I'm here. And so I wanted to learn more about agriculture and growing my own food. And then my mom had got sick, and so I wanted to learn more about food because of that too. I came across Dr. Sebi and how he was talking about sea moss and moringa and alkaline in the body and healing on the cellular level, healing the cells and things of that nature. And so I started making smoothies, and I was like, damn, I can grow my own fruit, and everything just seemed like it just slow walked. It had to be this way. It's not. It wasn't forced. It's like this. This is what everything just pointed this direction, and so I guess that's what kind of got me into it, the unseen world, the art of planting a seed. Because I didn't ask for this. I want to be this is what I want to do. Never did that. It was just like it just pointed, just flowed in that direction.
It's like that was your path from the beginning. It's kind of like, a lot of us, I'm gonna say the unconscious morals. We don't know what our purpose is in life. You know what I'm saying? And then the conscious of us, when we get to where you and I are, we start seeing what our purpose is. But it's like the universe, it was already destined. You had to connect with those streets in order to be able to get where you are today, to go back and show those same streets what you know today.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because they not finna just take anybody. You just come through, hey brothers, y'all can't do. You know what I mean? You can't just, if you're not from here, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like when I did the J's for A's, I was able to go to the hood, go to the OGs, go to the, you know what I'm saying, the officials, and they donating to the community. Brothers in prison donating to the community. Because I come from them same streets. We know each other. I'm not an outsider, you know what I'm saying? I'm not somebody trying to pretend to be, hey, will you guys come support? No. So we have to go through the good, the bad, the ugly in order to come. We got to go through the dark in order to come to the light. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thankful for everything. I'm thankful for my past because it's what made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Outside world, to the European, they'll classify us as thugs, gang members, vigilantes, you know what I mean? All these negative words. But if you look at the reality, look at who's narrating these labels on us. Now let's look at them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because in my eyes, these is brothers. These is people that grew up in the same community I grew up. This is my family, outside of my family.
Right.
They're just victims of what I said earlier, products of our environment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That of the environment that the European put us in through conquest. You know what I'm saying? Us conscious, we know why we in our position. And so that's why it's our job to help elevate our people or teach our people, hey, brothers, if you can whip this pot, then you can get out here and whip this cement and let's build this street. You know what I'm saying? Let's build this. You know what I'm saying? Let's build this store. You know what I'm saying? Hey, young brother, if you can count these numbers, well, let's count these bricks. Let's count this wood. Let's count. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's build our community.
What?
We gotta redirect the direction that we teaching our youth. But another question I want to get into, because you had brought it up, your business with the smoothies, like what okay, the agriculture got you into that route, but what inspired you to start your own business and why the smoothie business?
Because my mom, she got sick. She got sick with cancer. And so how it started, it, like I say, it was never, oh, I'm finna sell smoothies. It's like this shit just, it's kind of crazy. And it's good that we doing this. I appreciate being on doing the interview with me, man, so I could put this out, because I always wanted people to know the story and get it as it is. You know, but my mom got sick with cancer. Like I said, the seed was already planted. So I knew about Dr. Sebi. I knew about, learn about different weapons of warfare that we're dealing with. I didn't see it as just something to go in the hood and just to talk about it. I was like, damn, they're attacking my mama right here. Like, so what do? I just let them, do nothing. And so I said, now maybe I can at least make some smoothies for breakfast. So Dr. Sebi said, I was like that, Dr. C, if you eat this fruit and this fruit, it alkaline the body, helps good with this. So I started researching the benefits of strawberries and ginger and mangoes and pineapple. So I was looking at it like that. It wasn't for me to sell them. And so I started making them at home. And I started drinking them, trying to get, like, we ought to just, why not? Why haven't we been making smoothies? And so I would make them for breakfast. I would have a log and have her write down how she feel when she first get up. What did you eat the day before? So I was trying to do what I felt like the doctors would just tell her, just take more dosage. Just let us up the dose. That's the only thing I want to do is up the dosage. So they was like, oh, she in stage 4 cancer and all of that. But I remember my Uncle Johnny, he had stage 4 cancer, but he was on bed rest. He was unresponsive. So they said my mom was in stage 4. So I said, something's not right. I said stage 4 cancer. She's still walking around. She's still moving around. She's walking around the neighborhood with my dad. She's fixing food. She's laughing, but you can tell something was going on. But they made it seem like it's like they plant those negative words. And they're like, oh, the cancer's metastasizing, which means that it's spreading. And so they would use words like that instead of just saying the cancer spread. It's like, y'all don't want us to really know. Why not? Why, I don't know what metastasizing it means. So when I'm talking to my people I care about, I wouldn't use the word. If I use the word metastasize, I would say what it means, though. I wouldn't just tell them. So I was like, they leaving out of too much for me. I felt like too much for being left out. And so I was like, well, damn, let me try to make some smoothies at home, because I could add the sea moss to it. And she was actually doing wonderful. So they kept saying it was spreading. And so I said, well, they was caught up in God and Jesus and all that. So I said, let's give him a month. They saying that it's metastasized and all this, and their chemo is not working, because they say it's still spreading. So that means what they're doing does not work then.
Right.
Like, so we'll give it a month. She was like something, she would give it a month. And so eventually she ended up going back. And I was making the smoothie. She was doing good, still walking around. It's like if they were working it, for it's based on what they said and what I was saying. But this is too contradicting. And I couldn't just go by what they say. I was telling her, well, let's get to know our body. Let's listen to our body, and take heed of what they say. I ain't saying just disregard it, but don't disregard your body and how you feel. Whatever they say, but you still walking around and talking. Uncle Johnny won. Both of y'all supposed to be in stage 4. And so she went back, and they was like, oh, we got to hurry up and do something. It's spreading, and so everybody, my family, friends, the family, they was like, we got to let God take control. The doctors know the best and all that. So I was like, well, I found this different diet. We can just all pay $100 a month and just change our diet. And so they sent her home with some kind of paper on doing chemotherapy in her blood. So they wanted to put it in her bloodstream instead of just the radiation where you go in this machine. They wanted to inject it straight into the blood. But I was looking more at the side effects. I said, are y'all reading the same information I'm reading? The side effects are worse than what she had now. It's might
Yeah.
lose and your skin may start to soften and your bone. I'm like, and they was almost talking like it was something new that they haven't really done it a lot, and they were just trying. They were like, we could try this. They were talking like that. We can try this,
Test
but
experiment. Yeah.
like we got to try something. And so they end up going to do that, and that's when everything went downhill. That's when it declined. I've seen it for myself. It wasn't what they were saying at first. Wasn't that? It wasn't. It wasn't that. It was after they took their new chemo, is when it went downhill, and she ended up passing away. But I had a chance to see that the smoothies and what we was putting in the smoothie, it was effective. Based on what they were saying, it was effective because she was still doing good, blah, 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 all that. And so we had a shop where we were selling clothes out of a shop. We had a shop. My sister did like embroidery and design and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was telling her, let my sister them try. Well, she my real sister, but we just grew up. So I let her try them. She was like, damn, these smoothie good. And my cousin would come over and we would make them and sell them out of the house first. We would sell them out of the house. People were liking them. And so we started doing it out of the shop once a week. We started selling the smoothies out of the shop. And they was like, the people was like, these pretty good. I would give out samples. So then we ended up getting out of the shop because they had water issues and they didn't want to help fix it. And so we were like, well, why would we pay? And every time we get heavy rain, so we end up leaving the shop. And so I was like, well, man, I can't stop here. I don't want to go back to working like that. But I was working from home. I was doing something. I had enough money bagged up. And I would go sell smoothies 2 times a week from this gas station. I just went in the gas station one day and seen this European lady. And I was like, y'all ought to let me sell some. I was just talking though. I ain't really had no one for real. I was like, y'all ought to sell smoothies out of here. And then she was like, oh, the manager here today. I was like, well, let me talk to him. I'm just going. I don't know if I'm an opportunist or what
You're
was
shooting
going
the
on.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, so I just went along with it, and I started talking to the dude who owned the gas station, and I was like, what if I sold smoothies out of here 2 times a week? I shoot you a little something. He was like, the way I was articulating myself, it was like a Hindustani and Indian. They call them Indians, whatever. But he was like, I'll go half. He was like, he'll go half, and buy half of the fruit. But we had to split the profit. Everything was 50-50. So I was like, shit, run. And so every Thursday and Friday, I would go out there and make smoothies, and they would let me use their EBT system. People could swipe their card. I didn't have none of this. I took my cash app and all that. But if they had their card, he would let them go to their counter and purchase it with their card, with their EBT card. And so he was helping me. You know what I mean? And so every Thursday and Friday, I did that. And now more and more people was able to try it. And I was like, damn, they really like these smoothies. And so then I ended up making an investment, bought me a trailer. And I just been rolling ever since with the smoothie. And I've been making more than I've ever made working in the plant 40 hours a week, though, 8 hours a day, or sometimes 10, 12 hours. Then they tax all of it. Can't use the bathroom. If you miss a day, you get a point. Then you point out.
Yeah.
So now I got more control over how I want to move. And all I got to do is keep going. I mean, people like the smoothies. I just got to keep it evolving in it. Think of all the hiccups and the obstacles that's going to come. Because there will be obstacles. That I have to think ahead, and that's not so. All I got to do is go to work and be told what to do and go home. That's easy. I can do that. But that's like my last thing I want to do. Now that I'm in this position, I'll still go back and do it if I got to. But it'll take a lot of mental strain on me to be amongst that concept. And so I'm trying to give it all I got. And I just got to think more ahead. I work on the vision board with my godmother, and during the vision board where you project what you want to do 5 to 10 years from where you are. You write it out. Write up, how do you sell 100 smoothies a day? I can't say, I need to sell more smoothies. What's the strategy? It's not wish work. How you gonna sell 100 smoothies a day? Not by just talking. You know what I mean? So I got to come up with strategies. I got to get with the school system. I may have to, come up with stuff, get with the gyms, people who got their gyms. I want to get with them and put refrigerators in there to say watermelon and smoothies, and so people can pre-order. And then when they come to the gym, smoothies already be in there, but the refrigerator they would be set to a temperature that would keep the smoothies good enough. So when they come in, they can drink them. And I'm thinking all kind of ways, connecting with the school, going to the schools once or twice a month. Let the children get the children involved, going to the football games, and putting up banners and stuff everywhere. Just so I'm thinking of different ways to continue to increase the sales, offering delivery, delivering to the banks, to different people and etc. And so that's what led me into selling the smoothies. I was just pointed that direction. I never thought I would be. Somebody would have told me that, like, I almost thought it was like soft or whatever. If somebody would have told me like,
I mean, smoothies is like the ice cream,
5-6
like
years
the
from
snow
the
cone truck.
Yeah, I was like, somebody, I would have been like selling smoothie. It just seemed kind of feminine with the mindset I had then. I wouldn't have did that, but I'm straight with it. I mean, I'm
I
good. I
mean,
mean, then we
realistically,
helping our people see that.
my apologies. I was just gonna say, realistically, the summertime coming up, and who not gonna want an ice cold smoothie?
Yeah, it's perfect time for it.
You know what I'm saying?
Then
Like,
I
for
like,
real.
like now, so like when it get cold, I do like the herbal teas, the warm tea, putting them on the teas. That tastes good. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
introduce like bowls and salads and stuff later, and like natural juices and different stuff, just so people don't want a smoothie, well, you still can get a little juice that you want to get some good healthy juice. Get your
Yeah.
warm tea, stuff like that.
See, that's a great idea, man. That's what I'm saying. That's why this is a great interview, man. I'm glad you allowed me to get this information on her. But you mentioning the children just now, I went into my next question. Let's talk about your work with the youth or with the children. You know what I mean? How long have you been doing your thing? And tell us some of the stuff that you've been doing with the children.
So as Tribal Ujima had started in 2017 of the vernal equinox. So we started doing stuff, picking up trash, trying to get the children involved, because we just looking at how this shit going, and we was like, damn, it ain't really that much. Really, people say they got do stuff, events, but I knew that we can't help people with just events. We need something
Yeah.
structured, ongoing. Because if we do one event, then, it gotta be in their face. It gotta stay in their face, like the music, like the guns, like the weed, like the crack, like the powder, like the pill. It gotta stay in their face like that. And we
Mm-hmm.
can't. It gotta gradually grow. But we all started picking up trash, and we connected with PPI, some guys out of Columbus, and we was doing like a chess club in different areas, just moving around doing the chess club with some children, trying to get them to play chess. And then I didn't start the chess club. It actually started with brother Mizza, one of the other members, and PPI, the guys out of Columbus. I was watch them do it. And then so I started, coming, trying to help out or whatever I could do. Didn't really know how to play that good. I'm still learning now. So I started playing chess, and stuff with them. We were picking up trash because we cared about the environment. We wanted to connect to real estate and dealing with depreciation versus appreciation, and how communities lose value, and then other
Mm-hmm.
outsiders come and buy up the houses. And it's just because we're not tied to nothing. And so we wanted to do that. And so we picking up trash, but we didn't get a lot of support from those who we thought we needed support from. And so we wanted to start the gift the youth an allowance to pick up trash, give them, $50, 50 notes every 2 weeks or something. But we couldn't maintain that because we didn't have no structure, right? This is what we wanted to do. The city helped us out. They gave us like trash bags and gave us a place we could dump the trash that was convenient and different things like that. And we started doing pickups with them when they would do their pickups once every other. They didn't do it consistently. We did it every week. They did it once every 3 months or something like that. And so we was motivated, pushing people to get out here more. You seen a slight change, but the trash would build right back up because we didn't think of structure around it. We just did it based off of the energy, the motivation that we had. And so now we regrouped on that. We stopped doing it right now. We work channels. So we got with our probation officers and the judges. So now we're approved for community service. We weren't approved when we first did it. Now we're approved. So we were thinking about rebirthing it. Well, now we can get people, the community service people can come out and we can pick up trash in the system to maintain it. What we need our goal is to get 586 people to donate $5 a month or something like that. So we can give about 500 children can be part of this program where we would show them how to, start a bank account and or show them how to get a stock and just different stuff. Or they can do whatever they want, but we want to show them how to invest their money and and tap in and give back to the community and stuff like that. So we got to relaunch it and put it in their face more. What we would do like Zoom and PowerPoints to get sponsorships. So we would figure out, okay, how much does it cost for this program to run a year? Then we calculate that and say, okay, it costs $30,000 a year because we got to pay a team leader to meet the people that got community service. So the people that got community service, we got to have somebody consistently there so that the probation officers can take us seriously. Where they say, okay, every Tuesday and Thursday, somebody's out doing the community service. You know, we got to get us a van. And so we wanted to structure it more. And what we could pay that person, it won't be much, but even if we get him $50 every time he go out there for 2-3 hours, the probation people doing it because they got to do probation. But the person that we elect from the organization would get, they would pay them, we'll pay them $50 or something, but we would give the youth $50 every week or every 2 weeks. They wouldn't get it every day. So we as adults would go out and pick up the trash and then hire the youth to maintain it, to make it stay like that. So it won't be overwhelming because if there's so much trash on the street, we as adults gonna come and clean it up. Now speaking to parents, else is on the street. Now, Mr. Young Child, only thing we want you to do is just maintain this. So that means 10 minutes a day. When you get out of school, just go out, you get a free $50. We upload it to your Walmart card, then you good to go. Only thing you got to do is go out 15 minutes, pick up the trash, keep pushing. It's not hard. We're gonna break it down to them like that once we relaunch it. But I see now for it the work, it got to be, can't just be when we get ready. It got to be an ongoing structure. And so we put it on hold, and that's what we want to rebirth so we can get into the depreciation in our community. Trash bill up, somebody move out or somebody pass away, then the house go down, somebody come by, then they jack up the rent, fix it up. We want to start being able to tap into those concepts. So somebody asked, well, what happens when the trash starts to get picked up? What are you gonna do now? You're gonna keep paying them? I said, now we're gonna teach them landscaping. So these same streets that they're picking up, now that there's no more trash, people can use, and as they grow older, they will be less to throw it out. Because now we talking generational fixing, because they done threw out trash. I threw out trash. It was easy just to throw it out. But when I started picking up trash back in 2017, before I threw a trash, I stopped. I said, damn, how am I gonna throw trash out of the window and then go back and pick it up? So that'd be crazy on my part.
Yeah.
So now I thought before I threw the trash out, and I think that'll work too for the children. If they getting paid, they'll pick it up. And over time, repetitiously, they won't be. Why would that? Because that'd be crazy if they throw it out and then they turn around and pick it. It won't make sense for them. And so we're thinking about just picking up trash is a mindset shift. But if the trash starts to be picked up and nobody's throwing it out no more, we will get them into landscaping. So now when we got these yards and just looking at some kind of way, we'll plant pollinators, stuff that's good for our oxygen, that plants clean your oxygen. Nobody I know around here tests what is our oxygen level? What is the toxicity levels in the hood? I mean, what air we breathe? Nobody knows. You got these plants, you know, you got all this stuff around in our area. So who's checking the air quality? Does it matter? And so I was thinking about all that kind of stuff because I was connected to agriculture and I was learning how plants can clean the air and, you know, and attract bees and butterflies. You want to see bees and butterflies and shit in the hood because that means shit is working. Shit is alive, you know, over here. And so they would get into landscaping and planting beautiful flowers, making it look like something colorful and planting perennials so they would come back every year and getting with the residents of the houses where they are, y'all mind if we plant some? This even help with cutting grass. You might have to cut grass so much because this is going to be weed suppressing. When you plant these plants, it's going to suppress the weed, how weeds can grow. And so, yes, teaching them, education, so all of that, I want to be part of the program. We just got to put it all the way together and start to relaunch it. Because people don't have to live in this region to be able to donate their $5 a month. They can they don't have to be here. So we set up the website to be able to take ongoing subscription. So at first who gonna remember to pay $5 a month? So we say, okay, we need a website where they can subscribe, like they do Netflix, like they do Hulu, like they do everything else where they can subscribe and then the $5 automatically come out. So the only thing we gotta do is pitch it and sell it to them. When they subscribe, it's gonna automatically come out. And so we wanted to use our website as a function. So all that's being worked on. And so we do that. We do got a garden where we engage the community because that's another piece of them learning about technology of nature, how plants and shit is. This is technology, not just your iPhone or your computer. It's technology in the plants. You know, the food, the nutrition, and how it can heal, clean the oxygen. All this technology. And because caught up in what they're spraying in the sky and all that, but we got to get caught up what we can do and how plants are technology and how we can use that to our benefit. And so we got a garden, you know, where we teach the children that. We got a chess program that we do bi-weekly just to try to get them to critically think in a fun way. And we save our dollars. So instead of spending our dollars, we try to save them and just put them in the pot. And we can use this as a seed for the children to be on, for the children to be an incentive for them to think and try to get questions right when we're engaging.
Yeah, man. I see it's a lot of work y'all do, like with the Easter thing that y'all did. You want to, can we talk about that?
Yes, I don't know, 10. I'm gonna be watching this on 10%. I'm on the porch because they in the house. But yeah, the Easter
Okay.
event.
I mean, yeah, we almost done. Yeah, just the Easter event, and I want to talk about the conference, and then we done.
Okay. The Easter event. A lot of people are like, oh, it's pagan holiday. You shouldn't celebrate all that. And then so we just get further in way of engaging our people. And so we, with Moroccan Post School of Government and International Law, we was able to get on and begin to learn more about the astrological connections to a lot of stuff that's going on, dealing with Easter, Astarte, Ishtar, the East-Star, and dealing with the heliogorizon of Venus during the same time period that we celebrate Easter. It's the heliogorizon of Venus, which is the second planet away from the sun. The Earth is the third. And so we got caught up in the connections of this and how it brings a lot of raining. It rains a lot during Easter, during Astarte, or the heliogorizon of Venus. And so we was able to engage the youth. We had a banner bringing them to the international consciousness. And I know that the reason I love this, because the seed does work, because we talked about it earlier during the interview on how, the seed of what Tariq Bey was saying, what Dr. Sebi was saying, the silent weapons of war. So I understand the art of planting seed and how it helped me. So then when the universe puts stuff in front of you, you in line with it. It just flows that way. And so we planted the seed, putting them on the international scale of the Declaration of Rights of the Child, Principle 3. Every child has a right to a name and nationality. We played a nationality game at the event that Brother Abdullah, we came up with it. He helped us come up with this concept where we would throw the bean bags. We have posters out where we throw the bean bags where it would land on different posters. And we have nationality, Chinese, Russian, German, Moor, etc. And so they would throw the bean bag. And if two of them land on this poster where it's like 10 feet away, 8 feet away, you get a dollar or two or some kind of prize. So they just want to play. They want it. So, but now they look at what nationality it is. Wait, what you say? National. So sounding it out. They never heard of the word nationality. So that's a seed that was planted. Now they know.
So you plant that seed, yeah.
And so they learned more. Was the nationality China, but black wasn't out there. We didn't go into detail. I may have told them, but I didn't want to put it like we was teaching them that, because I know how they get turned off because they think teaching is what they get in school. So I try to just present it and not tell them that I'm doing it. Just do it. And they that's how you say nationality. Okay, Moor is a nationality, Chinese is a nationality, but black wasn't there. And I know somebody gonna go back and say to themselves, I wonder why black wasn't, and then so there we go. And we
before
had we got over 200 people.
I was just gonna say before you go, because I think it's probably why it's kind of lagging just a little bit because your phone going dead. You want to talk about the conference and like what you'll be doing at the conference?
Yes, the conference is the Moorish Nationality and Birthright Claim Conference, where we will be unifying with conscious and unconscious Moors across Morocco, known to the world as North America. It's a list of questions that the panelists, I'm a panelist, and we'll have keynote speakers as well. I'm even be making some of my smoothies so people are able to try the smoothies and follow the page and give us a shout out. But we'll be talking about the crimes against humanity. What is the territorial claims of the Moorish Empire? What are power treaties? And, what is war? And so we'll be going into how we effectuate it through social engineering and, different tactics that's been induced on our minds that leads us to stress, that leads us to infliction on our women, hating our own brothers and sisters, not eating properly. All these things is a seed that was planted, and that seed has to grow into something. And so the Moorish Birthright and Nationality Claim Conference will be where we come together on an international scale to be streaming in different states and different countries. We're working to get it where it can be, the caption can be displayed in different languages so other languages of people can see what's going on, so that we can gain more of an international ear and be seen from a different light than just these travel paperwork mores, which are our brothers and sisters. But we want to take it to another level and look at what France is doing to Spain, Portugal, Great Britain, in addition to the United States, and in line with those who are willing to align, and then taking our affairs amongst the places of men for those who don't. And so the conference is May 18th in Philadelphia, and I'm very excited to be a part, to be a panelist, to be able to discuss some of the work that we're doing in detail here in the foreign zone, known as LaGrange, Georgia. And so I hope you all hear this before the conferences and you comment so we can get you the flyer and you can come out and take it to the next level. So peace on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the flyer in the introduction of this video and at the outro, and I'll probably put it in here the way they'll see it as you were just talking about it. But I look forward to meeting you during the conference. I look forward to being at the conference. I look forward to taking in all the information that's going to be presented and bringing it back to the state of, or what they call Oklahoma, the territory that was took from my ancestors. That's what I'm saying. Like, this book is going to be a great book I'm working on. I'm already in part 5, and as you said, planting seeds, and I'm gonna end it on this, but planting seeds. On my platform, I have a video of Boomer Sooners, the Oklahoma Land Rush. And then just so happened, what I'm working on in part 5 of this Father of the Modern Race Paradigm, it touches on the Oklahoma Land Rush. It deals with the Dodge Rolls and the $5 Indians and what else I have? The Dodge Roll, the Land Rush, and something else I got on there, but it all ties in together. So I'm working on all that as we building. But like I said, bro, I appreciate you giving me your time on this platform. I look forward to building with you. I got to represent my presentation Wednesday, but I'm ready for that.
Oh yeah, that was a great presentation. Harlequins, I like the hearing about it because I didn't know about a lot of those people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I appreciate Abdullah, man. That I'm humble. I salute him for all his work and everything he's doing, because I hung up on us. But peace and love. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Islam, family.